All right, sorry about that. That was a little bit of a hiccup. Good morning, good morning. So still range bound. Buyer, seller, a little stronger seller here. Take out one of these guys, we're gonna be all right. Until then, we're kind of just chopping around. You're pretty much within this morning range here on the 30 minutes of the day. We could say this and this. I don't like these. I need to get rid of these shift, whatever that noise is for the shift keys. I keep forgetting how to do it. I guess I should say I keep forgetting that I have to do it. All right, let me see here. So in the middle of this range, kind of just tucked. We're a little bit on the upside. VWAP sitting here. Volume profile, we're kind of breaking out of touch. There's another node up here. I know there's going to be a node here. And then there's going to be a node here. So some things to keep up on. Yep, right here. Well, it says it's down here, but this is the beginning of that fringe right here. And then there's pretty much nothing big imbalance here, which is about where this pocket lines up, if you can see. So typically, have a nice little move there. I think for review volume profile, people say you're supposed to balance the market, but I disagree with that thesis. All right, here's our range. We're looking to somewhat break out of the range here this morning. Bounced right off of pre-market lows, straight up into the seller. So let's see what happens here. I was looking for something. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna talk about Delta. I was gonna give you guys a read on Delta, but move already happened, but that's all right. Actually, a move happened. See if I get Delta on the NQ. Get a read on Delta, that might be good. All right, so we definitely got somebody stepping in here, trying to step in here. Big candle this morning. This one was a 47. This one was a 48. Interesting. Hmm. 48. I don't know. I kind of have a thing with taking massive candles, but we'll see. All right, let's see if I can get Delta up for you guys on this. Delta, volume delta, cumulative delta. All right, there we go. Just to give you guys kind of an idea, even though this is going to be a little bit behind. So this is volume delta, so showing you the buyers over sellers. And then this is cumulative delta showing you over time who has more buying and selling strength in right now. So I think there's supposed to be, yeah, so the median 0 is 0 for the day. So this can be very helpful in figuring out where we're at in the market currently. We want to see a divergence of some sort. So we want to see if it's getting weaker, but this delta is getting stronger. Then that's going to give us an idea of where the market could go. I shouldn't say go, who has control, even though I don't use this per se. This is something still, when you're in a range, you can start to Gentrify has that strength, who's got the gusto in the morning. So something to keep in mind. Yep. So since this is behind, I'm gonna go to the Qs. Cause I don't. There we go. All right, there it is. Better. All right. I wonder if I can make this just to daily. Just settings out here. Anchor period 1 day. Okay, good. Big red bar here. 1 minute left. Keeping an eye on that. This could be a little bit of a bull trap type situation. So keeping an eye out. All right. So with this in mind, now we can have a little bit clearer depiction. This is the morning candle right here. So it starts off at 0, and now we're showing the strength. So came up to this high here. Came up to this high, but notice that delta didn't get quite up there. So this is showing a divergence here in delta, showing that they aren't as strong as they were. Hence, we got a big reaction. I need to check this real quick. 20 seconds left. There should be a reason why this is making a noise. Yeah, this is a big trap in the morning. We're gonna take this short once this closes. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Order filled.
All right, so this is a really big candle here. My goodness. All right, so we're going 3. We're gonna move our stop. 27.50. My goodness. Okay, really big bull trap. I don't really necessarily even like messing with that per se, but so what I don't like about this is, since that candle was so big, that green candle was so big, it is more likely to get ran through to the upside. I mean, even bigger was this red candle, right? Let me just double check here. Candle, it was about the same. This red candle is about the same. We could get chopped up though. This I don't totally love. So this is just a little bit out of context. I'm gonna taper 2 off here. I'm just gonna run with 1 because this isn't specifically an A+ setup. So this could work, but I don't love it. So I'm gonna take a very small risk on it, which would be roughly $100. Because this is more likely to get ran through considering all the context that's involved here. But if it works, great. If it doesn't, I wasn't really supposed to take it anyway. So 27.50. There we go. Still got a decent risk to reward. It's about 1.5-ish. All right. Well, let's keep hunting. Put in a new high and a lower high. Higher low, sorry. All right. Yep, so we got low, higher low, high, higher high. The only thing is we have that little bit of divergence. But notice now this low, we compared it with this low here, which is this bar. This low is now not as low either. Another divergence in here, right? So between this bar and this one here. So even though it was positioned lower, this reaction didn't come from an insane amount of sellers hitting the ask button. which is also bullish. So if we look at the difference in curves here, this one's a little bit more flat, this one's a little bit more steep. Something to consider, but that is why we size down. I may just cut this, honestly, because I'm really not supposed to be in this trade yet. We'll wait. Obviously, the seller's still active, and you kind of have him reinforce touch here. Whatever. Check this out here. There we go. Yeah, that was really tricky. Again, I don't love being in this trade currently. I'm going to hold on to it, though. Nah, am I going to hold on to it? Let's see. We could be a little patient here. I'm going to take a stop over VWAP. That's what I'm going to do. Take a 40-point loss on this one, 20-point loss, so $40. Even though my regular stop would be up here, I'm just going to tighten this up. I don't want a big retrace. Even though that would be valid for my other strat, I mean for my main strategy, it's not going to be valid for this one since it's out of context. VWAP's a little bit, should do a little bit of something. Nah, probably won't do anything actually. Just cut right through it 2 times, so we're just going to sit. We're going to sit and wait here. Be patient. Hold into one. $40 isn't going to hurt us. We made $15 through slippage, so technically we'll only be down 25 if we get stopped. Ah, man, we have to make sure we're trading this in the right context, though. So I really want to see these sellers get ran up here before I get into any long scenarios. Need to figure out how to get that shift key noise off. It's so weird. We're working on the shift key over here. Give me a second. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure here. Try to figure that out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out in the system, but yeah, not loving it. Can't find it. Let's see if it still makes the noise. Yeah, well, now it's not making it, so. Well, we'll find out. All right. Oh, yes. So, let's see if we actually get this fill here. Technically, yeah, even though this trading idea could work, I still want to be light on it. Again, this is where divergence can get a little tricky. This isn't really the true read. You have the high here, and you have this high here, so this is your divergence from extremes on points. Really, it's kind of tough to see here. But like this bar went green, but it was still red, so that's saying that sellers are trapped in this candle. But if this gets ran through again, it is what it is. This is why Delta, excuse me, this is why Delta can be a little tricky. So the imbalance of sellers, less and less aggressive sellers, less and less aggressive sellers, more and more aggressive buyers. There's all kinds of info you can get from Delta. I don't need it typically, but for those people that can read it really well, they usually get these earlier entries into their trades. So it was a low here, low is 261. It's 1 point lower. 1 point lower here. No, it wasn't. Below 261. It's so weird that it's saying that this low is higher. On screen, it's saying it's right here, 216175. On this one, the candle's saying 76150. But the print is showing that it's at. Oh no, it is a little lower. Okay, that makes sense. Super funky this morning. Market's trying to pick a direction. Personally, I do feel like the market is a little extended, but overall, if we were to look at the, bring these down a little bit. We look at all the overall daily. I feel like we're due for some sort of pullback here. Even as tight of a channel as this is, kind of in between the top two portions of this channel here. Right in the middle. Should expect something down here. To be honest with you, I would like to see a pullback. I'd probably like to see a pullback down to here. I think that's very realistic, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think this is very realistic. Quick shot down, bounce somewhere in here. So a little bit up on our trade right now. Again, I didn't purely love the context, but bulls really did get slapped here. It got trapped. If we run through these guys, it's going to be a very bearish case. I might even look to add to the short. Started to pick up a little bit. Volume's kind of coming in. Yeah, this might be our new seller here. It looks like it. Looking good for my short. Still, I would not have gone in for 3 contracts. You know, hindsight, but I'm kind of fine with where I was at. Volume picked up in this candle from this one. You can see that on the profile too. Oh, I didn't have the profile up. So throw that volume profile for you guys. There we go. I'm not sure if I'm reading this right. I think this is negative delta. This is your total volume, either in the bar or the candle, assuming it's the bar. And then this is your buying to selling percentage here of aggressive buying, aggressive selling. So now you're getting positive delta. See that big old 6,000, 8,000 bid there. So yeah, your buyer at 575 too. Some aggressive sellers. So they're just getting squeezed. The sellers just running right through them. So that's how you're seeing that. You're seeing buyers come in, but if it closes below them, that's showing that these buyers aren't really holding per se. Point of controls down here just had a 16,000 buy come in. Fat buyer. So we'll see if the sellers can take it lower than that. Oh, what did I miss here? It's crazy. Selling's definitely got more aggressive here, so we might be able to actually take this short. If this candle closes nice. This is our strong buyers though, right here in this area. So, but we are breaking below pre-market lows. Might be able to get a little continuation here. Move this back to a 3. Candle's picking up. Not too big. We don't want too big. Volume's definitely picked up here. The market might be choosing its direction for this morning. See if we get another little piece of this. If we notice with the delta swaying lower. And there's your divergence on the morning. So that's one way you could play divergence right there. So at a higher high, but a lower high on the delta, showing that bulls are not as attractive, right? It's one of the ways you could do it. Here's your up, there's your down, divergence. All right, 1 minute left on this candle. Want to see sellers step back in here before the close, otherwise I don't want to take it. Definitely want to see a close below pre-market lows here. I would prefer to see a close inside of these buyers somewhere. I'll still take it right above it, but I'm not going to feel great about it. 50 seconds left in the candle. Want to see some movement here. Give it to me. So yeah, a close right at this line too is also still bullish. I want to see a close into it. I'll still take it, but it's going to be less attractive. 20 seconds left. Let's see how we close here. Tapped right into those buyers. They started stepping in there on the volume profile. Let me zoom in. It's kind of pretty much where we said those buyers were going to be, right? 24,000. See all these buyers. The buying algorithm started stepping in here really strong. All right, 2 seconds left. 1 second. We don't like that, so we're going to wait. That is not what we like here. Put in a new low. Very tricky now. I'm actually just going to close that out with those buyers. I'm happier to be out of that trade anyways. It didn't really matter. That was just for a... Even though this trade context looks really nice, this still can continue for sure. It's time for me to actually trade my strat pure, and we got a little bit of insurance, so no entries yet for the strategy. Just being patient here. Being patient. With how these buyers stepped in, we could actually get our first real buyer to the upside, especially with the reaction off this. If we get a new aggressor coming off these buyers, then that could mark an actual bullish trend. So very tricky. Really heavy selling and heavy buying. I think in this candle though, each of them has their own delta. So in this candle, you still had negative delta in this candle. 467,000 volume. A little bit more selling than buying, but the biggest thing here to take note of is even though we have negative delta, we closed towards the top, showing that these sellers are trapped. And there's a bunch, see here. You had a big seller here that got trapped. Seller here got trapped. Huge sellers here getting trapped, even though those buyers, these are all big buyers here. So that 75.54 were all massive buyers. These sellers got trapped at 17,000 mark. Yep. It's much easier to look at in terms of points, I bet, instead of I should have just opened up another one. I'll just open up another one. Because sense makes it so tough because you can't really read it that well. Let's just move it over. There you go. Let's see if this is a little bit better. We can see that replay happen again. At least see how they're separated nice because they're by points, not cents. So you can actually see what's going on. Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a bit. That'll give us a replay. All right, decent sized green candle here. If we were to look at delta, we don't have delta. Let me get the other one up here. Let me get that another another one going here. So we can take a look at the delta. Go. I'm going to turn off that footprint for you. All right, so it's important to note this is your cumulative delta down here. So we want to see if we can come up here. If we got more buyers coming in at a lower rate and delta is still higher, this is still saying that bulls are trapped, technically. So we'll see how this shapes up here. With the delta coming up like this, if delta pops up, meaning there's more buyers and sellers aggressing in the market, and we're still positioned down here, this means that overall buyers are still under where they should be for the momentum. I'm sure if I put up an oscillator, it would show the strength. It would show the strength getting, I don't know, actually. Let me see. You have to look at the volume for that, but that's all right. Keep an eye on it. All right, so was this the candle? I'm gonna get rid of this on this screen because you don't need to see this. We have it on the other one. Anyways, I don't have to use this, but this is gonna be nice for the people I teach because it's important to understand the theory behind level 2 and delta. People don't probably use it the same way I do, but this plus with the DOM could equal a lot of great results. So yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this, and then again, the yellows mean where the point of control is, which the most volume is in the candle. You have total volume, you have buyers versus sellers percentage, and then you have, I think this is your max. This bottom one is your max delta. I believe this one's your current delta. Oh, this one's cumulative. This one's your cumulative delta, I think. This one's your current delta. Yep. The footprint charts I used to look at were not laid out like this, so I'm just trying to figure out that they're actually a little bit nicer, the ones that I used to see. But I mean, TradingView is providing this for a part of their subscription, so usually you have to pay out pretty good for delta, so, or the volume in general. Let's have another look here. Let's kind of get back, right back to volume. The point of control here, this red line. Market's just kind of sitting here. This is just fair market value right here. Huge liquidity is just sitting right here. Buyers and sellers are happy to be in this range. A lot of hands being exchanged right now, so you can see how toppling. Let's wait for this to update a little bit. You'll see just this huge node. There you are. Huge node. Come back up to this little node, see if we want to push above, and then if we get a break, we can actually, it can actually move pretty quick, but we're getting such a hot reaction off these sellers here. It's pretty intense. 2 minutes 30 seconds left in this candle. It's a slower paced than this one so far. The volume's not quite up to par with where this one was halfway through, so something to keep in mind. Buyers are still really hot and active down there. We'll see how these sellers react, and then we have our one of our strong sellers up here, so. Yep. That's that. Nothing much to watch besides that. Yeah, nothing much to see on any of these planes here. If this candle turns around and gets aggressive here, we might try and take a long outside of this area, possibly. Really, these sellers are hot though, so I would like to see it close inside these 90s. Forget how to size 80, value area volume. I forget. Does this make it more or less? Less. So if I put in like 200, then that would make it more. Yeah, that's what I want. All right. It's a little bit more specific, even though that's kind of ridiculous how flat that is. But I don't understand why it shouldn't be that flat. Okay, that candle turned around. The volume didn't quite pick up yet. Let's look at delta. Okay, so delta waned, a little bit less aggressive here, but the cumulative delta is saying that there's more buyers here. So this is interesting. So again, you also had a divergence here, right? So you had lower low, but here you got a much higher low on the delta here. So another divergence, which is bullish. Look at the volume footprint here. This one's a little bit cleaner. That was that big wick we saw. So the delta was negative. Cumulative delta was negative. Delta was negative in this bar, but we closed near the top. Point of control was here, so you had a big bidder come in at that 231. Is that where I marked this buyer at 231? Right here, 231.75. It's exactly almost at the top of where we knew those buyers were. So you could see that algorithm start to pump in there and get aggressive. Yep. Yep. That's that. We're gonna see a bunch of sellers coming at the other spot too. A lot of absorption. So, yep. Okay. Delta divergence. Let's see what happens here. This is super funky today. Super funky today. Have to be very careful. We're getting like wider, lower, which probably means that we're going to get a little tighter. Like this. So come in, like go like this, and then we'll do another stupid move. We'll probably just be sitting in this range for the most part of the day. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. This isn't real buying yet. This isn't a new aggressive buying yet. This was your aggressive buyer here. So this is like the bomb that goes off. This is like a explosion, right? Of buying. So you had that explosion of buying, and it's like a bomb. So where's my there. So it's like bomb happens here, boom. There's my bomb, right? Fiery bomb, fiery bomb. And then you have this reaction. But with this reaction, the interesting thing is that if there's not new buying interest, it's going to come back down to where this bomb was located to see if there's still firepower here. And then if it blows up again, then this is going to put a lot of pressure on these sellers up here. And that's going to be how when we test these sellers, this is going to give us enough information to see whether we're going to crack them or not, especially if we get above this high. So some things to keep in mind. So without me looking at the delta, I can tell you that this is a real buyer, but this isn't new buying interest. So even though delta will be positive, you can still see that we're not super waning yet. This was your buyer right here. Boom. Boom. Yeah, range bound. That's what I'm thinking. Delta's positive here for this morning. Cumulative is up here, I believe. Is that where the cumulative is? Let's just double check 1192. So yeah, so this is your current delta. This is delta in the bar. So tons of more buyers than sellers here. Point of control's up here. You had a hot little seller reaction up at 397. You'll see these sellers still probably be active in this area. Yeah, C409. Is that 109? It's 109. Alright. Keeping an eye out here. Keep an eye out. That wasn't real buying here. This is your real buyer, not real buying. You see that we can't even get to these sellers because it's a hot reaction. So this was a real seller, by the way. Oops. This was a real seller here. So it was a real seller here. Tapped up into that liquidity a little bit, but couldn't quite get out of that. So now you're just playing between these players, seeing if this seller gets squeezed, this could run. Until then, we're chilling. Got about another 30 minutes and I gotta leave. Might be looking to short here if this volume can pick up a little bit. Wonder if it'll give it to me on a shorter time frame here. Will it give me a volume profile? Alright. We'll do 1 minute then. To me, the 5-minute bars are such a waste to look at the volume profile. You could look at it a little bit faster on the tick charts or the range bars. Let's keep an eye on it. Two minutes 30 seconds in here. Volume looks like it could be on track to beat the previous bar. Yeah, it's on track to beat the previous volume here. So if we can get a nice close with the volume that picked up without this bar going too crazy, this is where your bomb is, right here. We're gonna see if we can get a continuation to the downside. Can't find new buying interest. That's the problem. You have a real buyer here. We can't find new buying interest. This is an issue for the longs. We got double divergences here, which is crazy. Divergence. 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 Very interesting. There's a way to thicken up these candles so I don't see so many prints here. It like sums them up in like points. I'm just too lazy to do that. Or not too lazy, I'm just trying to figure out how we could do that. Alright, buyers looking to try and step in here. Let's start to push. This is lagging, so we won't see the true numbers until until after the fact here. I just don't pay for the CMA data on TradingView. I don't use it. Mostly use it for options. It's kind of tricky. I think bulls look I want to say bulls look strong, but they both look kind of strong. I'm not sure here. Makes it very tricky. Still not really into a trade yet. It's 810. Not that much for me to do. See, buyers kind of stepped in this range a little bit again, so they're kind of chipping away at the seller here. Point of control is real high up here. Point of control, point of control, point of control. So there's mostly your actions up here. And then you're getting a little bit of some absorption. Or I'm sorry, buyers came in here, not absorption. Buyers have stepped in here. Took it up. Zipped up to the top. We'll see. Just going back and forth and back and forth. Hanging around this profile all day. I don't think we have data today. We have data today? I don't see any data today. That would change a lot. 2 minutes 43 seconds left. See if we can do something. Actually, we might have a little bit of a short opportunity here. If we close below 75.75, I'm taking the short. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Might have our first trade, actual trade of the day here. Been very tricky. Very tricky today. I do still think the sellers are strong, but yeah, if we get anywhere below 75, anywhere below here, we're gonna take that short. We come up above it, not dealing with it. 75 right here. Anywhere below here, we're in. And then if we get stopped, that's gonna show some really aggressive, it's gonna show that shorts try to make that aggressive move to the downside, and shorts get squeezed, so we can kind of play counterplay on that. So it's possible to play counterplay, but again, we're gonna have to close in 50 seconds above this line right here. If we do that, then I'm out. I don't take the trade. Want to see this move? see the delta here. Doesn't really giving us much of anything yet. We know that there's selling happening. We'll have to see how exactly it went down right here on the footprint. All right, getting ready to sell here. 10 seconds left. This is looking good. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Order filled.
All right, we are in. 2. Where do I want this thing at? Let me see here. All right. Get a little less profit than normal here, just because I don't like the price action today since we've been so range bound. Even getting down here is going to be a trial, so I'm going to stay in this pocket. If the real take profit could have been at 12 right here, so I'm just bumping it up 7 points. It's not much. It's an extra. What is that? 7 points, 14. Hopefully $42. I'd be surprised if it actually hit it. Consider the context. We got this bomb down here, so we'd need another quick flash. See what everybody else is doing. Delta's starting to get in there a little heavy again. We're a little laggy on the footprint, so we'll have to see. This 807, and we're currently at 815. So where are we at? 817. So we're a little, about 10-15 minutes behind. 10 minutes behind. All right. All right, need some volume to pick up here. I might add to the short. Need a good close too on this bar. Two minutes left. Let's hang in there. The volume's looking really good, so we might get to add to the short. Which, if I do add to the short, I might, since we have two positive selling instances, we might actually add, or we might actually take our original take profit. So we'll see what happens here. 130 left in this candle. Just sitting and waiting. Want a good close. We're in for 3. We might get in for another 3 here. I'm going to take off here in about 10-15 minutes. You'll see the recap on Twitter. And it will be all the trades for the day, so it'll be nice. 50 seconds left. We're assuming, like on the volume footprint, that sellers came in strong, but buyers absorbed them because we're above where these sellers were hot at, right? So if there's a buyer absorbing these sellers, this is saying that sellers are getting trapped down here. But again, you need new buying interest. The market has not been able to find new buying interest. That's a part of the whole situation here, the challenge. So my add here, my add short 3. We need a strong close. We got the volume we need, but we need a strong close. And it's not looking too strong here. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so I'm not going to add to that. No, thank you. Can't show you yet, but notice we had a red bar, but we had delta was green. This is saying the shorts are trapped in this bar. Doesn't mean that it's gonna just continue that way, right? It doesn't mean that it's for sure gonna go up after that, but because again, you need new buying interest. But whoever this buyer is down here is kind of stepping up their bottom end here. They're getting a little bit more aggressive. Cumulative delta is still negative on the day, so there's still overall more sellers than buyers on the day. 0 is your median here. So, but if there's more sellers than buyers and we're below we're above close, that means that shorts are starting to get trapped. Something to keep in mind. I think the market's really just trying to figure out what they're gonna do. It's kind of this weird, like I was saying, I think I drew the shape out a little earlier. You get this wide, and then it's going to consolidate tight, and then it's just going to be a funky day. Playing traps at the extremes and stuff like that. So it's 10 minutes behind. So this is where we get to see if buyers got trapped. This is the 1 minute, but yeah, point of control went up, went down, and then just kind of bouncing around here. Some sellers stepped in. Sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. I think I was saying it wrong earlier. I remember it was reversed to what I thought it would be. Sellers, buyers. All right, hot candle here. Super choppy. Good lord. If you look at the 15-minute on this, it just looks really disgusting. Throw the 15-minute on real quick. Yeah, well, look at that. Top wick heavy. Buyer's really strong. The bottom, really just messy. So if we get stopped out on this trade, you know what? I'm gonna have to cut my mic a little bit here. I'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're back. Sun woke up, so might be hearing some background noises here. All right, so what are we at here? We didn't catch that new buyer again. Still looking for a new aggressor to come in here. This is looking very funky. If you're a trend player, you got your booty kicked today. Market doesn't want to break out of this range here, man. See if we can get a little bit of a continued move to the downside. By the way, here's our 1 minute starting to show up 10 minutes late, so we could start to see that buyers tried to step in here. It closed below these buyers. They got absorbed. Sellers started to come in as strong. Sellers came in really strong. If you were looking from an imbalance point of view, there would be this red imbalance right here that goes across. This is going to be something to note later because this imbalance is where you will find sellers again. So something to keep in mind. I'll draw that for you. And then let me think here. What do we got? 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the candles. Nothing to see over there. So sellers started to slide in more. Sellers got really aggressive. But what happened? It wicked up. So sellers, strong sellers, tried to take the market down, but they got absorbed. But guess what? No new buying interest. No new buying interest here. Right? And when you ran right back up into these sellers, look what happened. This big imbalance that was all the way through here, they got absorbed by the seller. They were super hot. So it wasn't a bunch of buying. There's just lack of buying interest. So again, about medium, huge seller. They got kind of just scooped a touch. I wouldn't call this absorption yet. Failed to find new buying interest here. Buyers got absorbed on this side. Then you had a big buyer. Look at all this buying, and they got absorbed. All of it got absorbed. So this is saying that bears are in control, and it's probably going to want to test that major buyer again. So that is the idea with the footprint. I'm sorry if that's a little confusing. Delta's continuing to go a little bit negative here, but keep an eye on this. So let me see if I can find other here. You want some of these, Pop? Go ahead. Get in there. Get in there. Use some of those snacks. Yeah. All right. So that's the theory. Let's see if we see anything here. We still have the cumulative delta looking like it's shaping up even higher and higher and higher, but the price is going lower and lower and lower. So are we going to find some strength and actually pop up above? It's possible. Something to keep an eye out for. And then the volume delta, yeah, honestly, this helps with volume bars more than the volume delta, but I don't want to confuse you guys. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it 1 and 1 here. All right. So lower lows, but delta's still really high. What is that telling you? It's a divergence saying what? Could this go up a little higher? It's possible, but my system's not saying that, but it's the idea. All right, so we're still in our short. Looks like we're gonna go test these buyers. We're gonna see, are they still active here? Are they still hot? Because they drew a big old bomb last time. You just couldn't get new buying interest here. Shoved into these sellers and repelled. Bounce off pre-market low again. What's up? You want some more pretzels? Oh, they're spicy. All right. This could be the mover for the day here. We can get past this buyer here. I think we might have this nice trend, a big old move, about 100 points before we hit our next buyer. So let's find out. We've been patient. We've been waiting. Take a look over here. Delta's looking like it tried to break out, couldn't break out. Now you're gonna see these sellers gonna start stepping in steep here. We're below, we're negative delta here, so negative delta, sellers are in control. In theory. All right. Looks like we're breaking down. We might actually get our short to work out here. Might add to that short too. We're gonna find out. We really need volume to pick up here. The volume's just been so light. We're about to test this hot buyer here. That's gonna be interesting. See if that buyer still wants a piece. Again, this buyer can sit here all day, but if there's no new buying interest, if you can't find new buyers to take this market higher, it's just going to keep bouncing off this buyer. It's going to keep bouncing and bouncing and bouncing off this buyer, right? Because there's no new buying interest until this buyer is satisfied, and then it breaks and you have to find your next buyer. So it's an interesting balance between having a lack of buying interest and having a real aggressive seller, right? You're always playing these different positional theories. I shouldn't say that. I should say the market is dealing with those 4 different aspects. The 4 different aspects are new buying, new aggressive buying, new aggressive selling, or lack of buying interest, lack of selling interest. And then if you add where the players are on the map, you can figure out exactly what the market's, where the players are on the battlefield. But yeah. So need some volume to pick up if I want to get involved in this trade. Yep. Otherwise, we are just hanging out here. Actually, I gotta leave here in about 5 minutes. Hoping this bar can give us another entry, though. That way I can manage it. Got my monkey awake with me right now. Yeah, see if we get this little continuation here. We might add. Be a nice add if we can get that volume to pick up. It's just not quite getting there yet. 1 minute 30. That is not. It's not there's not enough volume in this bar. Kick on the volume here for a second. We just see how light volume is compared to the last bar. So we want to see some decent volume pick up here. You notice we've been staying under VWAP all day. We're underneath the point of control. This is putting a lot of pressure on this buyer here, but this is where the bomb was. So if they're still going to be there, now's the time for them to show up. I'm going to show you to that 233. We're going to quickly just look at this real quick. Notice we're getting to that lower lows, but the delta is still really high. That's a divergence sub. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Maybe delta will suddenly flash in and overwhelm them. We want to see, oh, so here's the imbalance. That's what I was talking about before, so you guys can see. Here's your big imbalance. The market comes back up. Guess what? Sellers are still active in this area, right? You see that? They're absorbing these buyers. Absorption and some aggressive selling. This is a lack of buying interest. That buyer on that point of control got absorbed. So keep that in mind, because that is a lot of, it's a lot of how, understanding how the markets work. So this close here. Yo, what's up, Gaurav? Z, how are you, bro? I didn't see your name in chat, bro, until right now. Had my other screen picked up. All right, so looking for some new buying interest, selling interest. If we can get a new aggressor on this sell, we can actually start to play and add to our short. Yep. Let's see. Buyer's still real hot here. This is where your bomb went off initially. Nice, bro. How'd you catch him? What strat? I caught like 20 points earlier just for a quick on a single micro though, but I wasn't positive about the short. So I kind of let it fail. It was this trap right here. But yeah, it was supposed to run even farther, but I didn't want to take part in it because that bar was just, I don't like trading huge engulfing bars like that. I'll trade them, but I just don't like trading the biggest ones. Volume and support and resistance, sick. So did you play, so did you go short or long? So this is starting to get cold to the touch now, right? So this buyer is not as hot as it was. They're still here, but they're starting, if you look over time, this buyer is starting to become a little bit more satisfied. They're not aggressive. It's putting pressure. Long, nice. So did you catch it off the morning rib? Did you catch bounce off like pre-market lows? So I'm like looking where 60 points would be. That would be about 60 points. Bounce off pre-market lows. You could have looked at other things as well, probably, I'm sure. Is there a little, if you're ICT, there's a little 25 gap there. So there's your imbalance theory. So I drew the imbalance for you. You come up when buyers got absorbed and closed below, you could take your short, putting your stop up above these sellers, and then here you are, bam, catch your bid where buyers stepped in. There's probably a buying imbalance somewhere down here. Here's your buying imbalance right here, 103.68. So this was your buying imbalance right here on that 68. So if you would have looked and came over, you could have taken your profit right where those buyers were right there. Boom. Look at that. So that could have been a scalp on a 1 minute. Seeing the absorption, crank down. Once you come up, you short. Let me rephrase how I said that. After knowing that there's an imbalance and absorption, you take your short on the close of that 1 minute. So your entry's roughly here. You put your stop up here, and then that is, here's your close. Stop probably right here, like right here-ish, and then you target the lows here for a scalp. 237, 39.75, and 804 exit. Very nice, dude. Let me see where that's at actually. So 39, was that this one, or was that this one? 804. I don't even think this one got up to 804. So hey, it had to have been this one. Very nice graph. 3975. So did you just play the lows, or did you play like a pre-market? So you volume and support and resistance. So I'm assuming if we're looking at volume. Yeah, I don't know how you would take that with this pure volume unless it was volume profile. Interesting in any case. Let me just keep an eye on the market here. So we have boom, 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 boom. All right, so if this closes, let's see here, if this closes above 48.75, I got to get out of this trade. Very interesting. I'm supposed to actually reverse the trade, but so the bomb is still high here, as you can see, still reactive. So if we look at the 1 minute a little bit later, we're going to see absorption happen from these sellers below 34. Yep, bounce off the lows. Nice, dude. That's really nice. Where'd you put your stop? How do you define a stop at lows like that? So divergence here, we're going slightly lower, right? But the cumulative delta is going higher, so something to keep in mind on that. We'll hit that absorption in a second. I'm going to show you guys the absorption. But again, as the market's failing to do is find new buying interest. So you have this buyer here. You're just not finding new buying interest. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Shh, shh, shh. Are you sleeping? Yep. Let's see what happens here. Actually, what time is it? Probably gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end stream right here. All right. Hey, Gaurav, thanks for stopping in, bro. I'm trying to stream a little bit more often, but we've had some killer trades over the last couple weeks. I took a challenge with the 10K in crypto, 150x leverage, and strategy was make 100 return every trade in like flips. Made 180K after charges, but after that, lost all in one. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine that's crazy. What was the challenge? It's tough, man. I feel like I'll go on like a streak, and in the past, and then just tilt. Gotten really better though. I've gone like months without tilt, or like I'll have a couple little controlled tilts. Manageable. Let's see if there's a little bit of, what is this, 811. Whoa. All right, started to crack on that selling a little bit. That'd be interesting. All in every time and make 100%. Oh, wow. You have to do that? That's crazy. Yeah. It's wild. All right, minute 39 left. I'm not seeing new buyers stepping in yet. I mean, sorry, new sellers yet. It's just kind of lulling. The market's lulling. I still think we'll hit this target, but it's just not looking. It's not looking very saucy. This market's very lackadaisical. All right, well, I'm gonna have to take off nonetheless. Oh, nice, dude. That's sick. I'm gonna take off. I'll see you. I'll be trying to stream every day this week, so see what happens. Take care of yourself. Until next time.